What's up everybody, Jack here from Heprom, and this is the Potensic Atom SE, and it's the newest little mini drone on the block. This thing has a 4K camera, a 31-minute flight time, a 4,000 meter range, and it costs less than $300. And I think you could make a case this is the best beginner drone for a lot of people, not for everybody. Stay tuned, we'll figure out if you're one of those people. All right, so the Potensic Atom SE is a foldable drone. It's super portable, pretty lightweight. And if you see, the back arms fold forward, front arms fold back, and this thing is super compact. Now, one of the nice things about it is that it's less than 250 grams, and that's a big deal in a lot of countries. Here in the United States, the biggest thing about that is you don't have to register it, and it's not subject to remote ID laws. So those are two big bonuses for a lot of people, so something to keep in mind. A lot of people don't care about the weight of a drone, but 250 grams is the magic number, and this thing is under it, so it checks that box. Now, the other things that are important are flight time, range, and camera, plus some of the different flight modes that drones have. Now let's talk about flight time. This will give you 31 minutes of flight per battery, and you get 2 of these batteries when you buy this drone. So you're getting up to 62 minutes of flight. Now, keep in mind, no, you're not gonna get 31 minutes for every battery, but you're probably gonna get 25, or at least close to that, and that's pretty darn good. So you have 50 minutes of flight time coming out of this drone. Now these batteries, these are 2-cell batteries. They charge with a USB-C plug right here in the back. It takes about 2 hours to charge one of these things. Let's talk about the camera on this, and that's kind of the big thing you need to note. Now this is a 4K camera, but you'll notice there's no gimbal here, right? These are just isolation mounts, dampeners, if you will, and they help reduce jello and take some of the jitter out of your image. This also has electronic image stabilization, so there is no full 3-axis gimbal, right? You can pan the camera up and down, but it does not stabilize it mechanically. It is stabilized electronically. That means the software, after you've recorded it, kind of smooths out the footage. Now, it's not going to be as nice as a real gimbal would be, but it is okay. And that's kind of where you gotta think about this drone if it's for you. Now, do you want professional quality video? This is not professional quality. It's really good, and we'll take a look at the video and the pictures coming out of this thing later in this video. But note, that is kind of the caveat. If you want something that is fun, easy to fly, the app is nice, intuitive, lots of flight time, this is the drone for you. If you want something that is professional or close to professional grade photography quality stuff, then it's not going to be this guy. It's good, but it's not great. So now let's take a look at some of the video coming out of this drone. This is the Atom SE recording at 4K 30. And the crispness is pretty good. Now, you're gonna have to forgive me. A lot of these shots, they're kind of gloomy, right? I'm outside of Chicago. It's just kind of the cold, super windy, gloomy season right now. And that's actually nice to see how that electronic image stabilization works, right? You can see that the drone is really fighting the wind, and that's gonna come out in your pictures, or your video, I should say. Actually, pictures, you can kind of line it up as you want. Now, it is taking away a lot of the jitters here, but as you can see, it's a little bit too much for this lightweight drone on a decently windy day. Now, this video here wasn't quite as windy, but it's still going to struggle a little bit with stabilizing that image. The camera is nice, right? It's a nice camera. It's just a shame that it's not on a full 3-axis gimbal, and electronic image stabilization can only do so much. Now, many drones will all kind of have a smaller sensor, so in low light situations, they're just not going to perform super well, and that's consistent with the Mini SE and the Mini 2. The Mini 3 Pro actually does a a better job at night or low light situations, but it's also like 3 times the price, so you got to keep that in mind. Now, here are some videos that Potensic sent me to kind of look at. Now, it's a brighter day. They're clearly not dealing with the wind that I was, and if you're going to have ideal situations, which I don't often have here in Chicago, you're going to get better video. Now, you can kind of see as the drone's moving around. Again, it's gonna struggle to stabilize quick motions or heavy wind. But the camera's nice, and it will do a good job if you put it in a situation where it can succeed. Now, we're gonna look at some video coming out of the Mini 2 and the Mini SE later, so you can kind of compare this to that. And I think you're gonna find that 3-axis gimbal makes a pretty big difference. But yeah, decent camera, not professional quality, but pretty good overall. This drone was actually really fun to fly, super stable, actually pretty nimble and fast, right? You've got video mode, normal mode, and sport mode. Video mode slows it down for smooth footage, and if you're really careful, you can get some pretty good shots, but it takes some planning. Can't do it on windy days. We'll talk about that. You'll also note we've got some sensors here in the bottom, and these help keep it super stable. This is a really rock solid, stable drone. Really good for pretty much anything in this price range. I was a big fan of flying it. Easy to fly, lots of fun, app is intuitive. This guy has a range of up to 4,000 meters. That's like 2.5 miles. Now, are you really gonna fly this 2.5 miles away? No, but it just really does have a really strong video signal. I had no issues flying this thing far away and back to me. You know, you wanna keep that drone in your visual line of sight, and you're absolutely gonna be able to push the limits with this thing. Really nice. And one of the things that I really like about this drone is all of the goodies that you get with it. You get this nice shoulder bag. Now, I prefer hard cases, but this is actually pretty darn nice. We got the remote here. It folds up, your phone goes in the middle. We'll talk about this in a second. Handful of cables that'll work. We got an instruction book that's actually pretty well written. We've got an extra battery and then a strap to hold down your propellers. So all in all, Potensic has done a nice job of giving you a really good package. Extra batteries, they get expensive quick, and it is really nice that they included too. Plus this case, you can't underestimate that because you gotta bring your drone with you. You have somewhere to store it, helps keep it safe. Really nice package coming from Potensic. Simple Velcro strap, keeps your props out of the way. Let's show you how that works real quick. You know, you just kind of fold it up. Pretty easy to put together. Just kind of wrap it and boom. Stays nice, and then we can go ahead and throw it in. We throw it in the back there. Let's take a look at the remote control here. This is a nice remote control. Reminds me of the Fimi remote controllers that I've seen in the past. The sticks are in the bottom, they pull out, and then just kind of get screwed into place here. All right, we take your cable. Now I am using an iPhone, USB-C to iPhone, and it just kind of slides into place here. You're gonna wanna connect your phone, slide it in, and then your phone just kind of sits there in the middle. Buttons up here, take a photo, start the video. This is my gimbal dial, or I should say my camera dial. I'd move the camera up or down. Then we have a return to home or pause button right here. So a nice solid remote controller will hold a big phone. So overall, nice design, nice feel. It's a good solid remote control. Both of these are real antennas, and it is nice that they fold out of the way so that you can kind of fold this up and throw it in the carrying case. The app is intuitive and easy to use. We have a handful of different flight modes. There is a follow me. It's gonna follow the controller. So I don't get to select a subject here like some of the other drones with follow me, but wherever I go with this, that drone will follow. Then there's a circle mode or an orbit, and I have to set that up ahead of time in the main settings menu, which is a little different, and then it'll do a continuous circle. There's waypoints, there is headless mode. I don't suggest you use headless mode, and there is a smart return to home, right? So if you get disconnected, you get disoriented, you lose sight of your drone, you can initiate the return to home so it'll come back to where it took off. So to enter into any of the automated flight modes, you're going to tap that little icon on the left. I was just doing a circle there. And then it'll pull up the menu. Now, I'm going to do a follow me here. I'm going to tap that little follow me button. And the drone kind of zooms out into where it thinks it needs to go. So just kind of keep in mind it's going to go somewhere. Make sure there aren't any trees. I'm going to bring it back closer to me. You do have some control over the drone. And you do also have some control over the gimbal. You'll see here, I'll test that out. So again, it's not going to like lock on to you. I just happen to be in the center because I set myself up in the frame here. I'm just kind of messing with the gimbal. Can I move it up or down? I can. And then I just kind of need to find myself in the screen there for it to follow. Now I'm showing you inside of the app so you can kind of get a glimpse of what the app looks like. You can see that I'm in that flight mode. It's turned red. Now if I want to change any of the parameters or settings on this drone, upper right hand corner, those three dots, that's where you're going to do that. Yeah, the app is pretty intuitive. Now here I change direction to see if the drone will follow me in the other direction. And you can see after I left the screen, it did. So if I want to make sure that I'm in subject, I got to kind of manipulate the gimbal a little bit to do that. But yeah, flight modes work well. It's a fun little drone. So really what you need to know is which mini drone is best for you. Now the absolute best mini drone you can buy is this. This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's also the most expensive. This thing is pound for pound the best drone on the market today. It's awesome. We've got front and rear obstacle avoidance. You can fly this thing up to 46, 47 minutes if you have the extended battery. Just absolutely dynamic 4K video, bigger sensor. This thing's great. It's also really expensive. So, coming in at $600, $700, $800, $900, depending on what package you get, this thing is a whole lot more than the sub $300 Potensic. Now let's talk about this guy, the Potensic. Slide this off for a second. So this guy's $299, but right now it's $20 off with like an automatic Amazon coupon, putting it at $280. Now, that's a good deal. If you're just looking for a drone that is fun to fly, that's the best bang for your buck. 2 batteries the case. I've already talked about that. But there are other mini drones in the similar price range. This is the DJI Mini 2, and it has a much better camera on a real gimbal. The gimbal, we'll take a look at that. The gimbal here will stabilize your video much better than this guy will. So if you need high quality pictures and video, the DJI Mini series is where you need to go. If you just want something that is fun to fly, then the Potensic is a really good option. But in terms of video, this is where you need to be. The Mini 2 or the Mini SE. Now the Mini SE is generally in that $300 price range. However, I recently saw it at $329 on Amazon. So that's like $40, $50 more than the Potensic. Now absolutely the camera is better, but if the camera's not your main thing, that's where you go with the Potensic. If you need really good pictures and video, the Mini SE is the way to go, hands down. I mean, it's a fantastic drone. It does everything the Potensic does, probably a little bit better, and it has a better camera, so you kind of have to make that choice. Are pictures and videos the most important thing? Then you got to go the DJI route. Now the Mini 2 is a step above the Mini SE. It gets better range, it has a better camera. Actually, has the same camera but has better capabilities. The Mini SE is limited to 2.7K video, which is more than good enough, whereas the Mini 2 gets you 4K video. So something to consider. If you're looking for mini drones, there are lots of really good options out there. And this Potensic Atom SE is another decent option. I do like it. I think it's a great beginner drone. The biggest drawback here is this camera not being on a real gimbal. If it was on a real gimbal, this thing would be a home run. Or if it was cheaper, right? I mean, if this thing was $250, $220, gosh, it'd be an absolute dynamite deal. At $300, it's getting into Mini SE category, so you gotta kind of consider that. But it is still a little bit cheaper, so you gotta keep that in mind. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it. We'd love to have you back. We got drone reviews, lots of information on drones, cameras, Part 107 study coming your way. Anyway, hope this was helpful. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.